In the gleaming, chrome-plated heart of the 20th century, the future was not a question. It was a promise. A chicken in every pot, a television in every living room, and a flying car in every garage. It was the ultimate symbol of a world unbound by earthly limits, a three-dimensional freedom that would define the coming golden age. So, what happened? This isn't just a story of failed inventions. It's the ultimate detective story about the future we were promised and the reality we got instead. This is the ghost that haunts our technological age, the greatest broken promise of the modern world. So today, we are not here to mourn the death of a dream. We are here to perform its autopsy. We will journey through the 4 acts of this grand ambition, the dazzling promise, the forgotten pioneers who actually flew, the invisible forces that shot them down, and the surprising reincarnation of the dream today. And we will finally answer the question, what really separates our greatest dreams from our reality? The promise wasn't born in a vacuum. It was forged in the victory of World War II and fueled by the atomic age. For the first time in history, it felt like humanity had finally solved all the big problems. The future was no longer something to be feared. It was a product to be designed, marketed, and sold, and the showroom for this new future was the World's Fair. Millions of people made the pilgrimage to see General Motors' Futurama exhibit a breathtaking vision of a perfectly engineered tomorrow. It promised automated superhighways and gleaming cities, a world where technology had cured all of society's ills. This vision became the Bible for a generation. The covers of popular science magazines were its scripture, each one a stunning prophecy of the coming aerial age. The aesthetic was intoxicating: sleek, jet-inspired lines, gleaming chrome, massive tail fins, and the iconic bubble canopy, giving every driver a panoramic view of the American dream. The great car companies became the high priests of this new religion. General Motors' Firebird concepts weren't just cars, they were jet fighters for the road, powered by gas turbines, with joystick controls and audacious designs that screamed the future is now. But the car itself was just the vessel. This is the first and most important pillar of the dream. The true promise was absolute, three-dimensional freedom. It was the idea that the average person could escape the gridlock, the confines of the road, and the tedious limits of a two-dimensional world. It wasn't just a vehicle, it was the ultimate expression of personal liberty. It was the unwavering belief that any problem, no matter how complex, could be solved with enough horsepower, chrome, and sheer, unblinking optimism. The public was sold, the dream was built. All it needed now was for someone to actually make it fly. The dream of the flying car didn't just live on magazine covers. It lived in the garages and workshops of brilliant, obsessive, and slightly mad engineers. They were the true pioneers, the men who tried to wrestle the future into the present. This is the second pillar of the dream, the machines that actually flew. The most famous and most successful was the creation of one man, Molt Taylor. His Aerocar wasn't a fantasy. It was a rugged, practical, and FAA-certified reality. The design was ingenious, a small, functional car that could drive to an airfield, where a set of wings and a propeller, towed like a small trailer, could be attached in minutes. It was, quite literally, a car that could fly. It worked. It flew safely for thousands of hours. It even got a deal with Ford to go into mass production. On the other end of the spectrum was the corporate behemoth, the Convair car, backed by the massive aerospace company Convair. This was a much more ambitious design. Instead of attaching wings to a car, it attached a car to a plane. A small fiberglass-bodied vehicle could be driven to an airfield and attached to a massive airplane chassis with its own separate engine and propeller. It was the brute force solution to the flying car problem, and for a glorious 66 minutes on its maiden flight, it too worked. The dream was real. The engineering puzzle, it seemed, had been solved. We could build them. They could fly. This spirit of daring invention, of building the impossible just to see if it can be done, is the very soul of the futures we explore here at the Future Past. These pioneers are the heroes of our forgotten history. If you believe their stories need to be told, consider subscribing to our channel. Your support keeps their dreams airborne. So, if the engineering worked, if a man in a garage could get a deal with Ford, Why aren't we flying to work today? Because the thing that killed the flying car wasn't a problem of engineering, it was a problem of reality. The dream was airborne, the technology was proven, and then it collided with the 5 invisible walls of reality. This is the third and most critical pillar of the story: the dream killers. First was the nightmare of the sky. The dream of a million flying cars is beautiful. The reality is a 3-dimensional traffic jam of biblical proportions. Regulating a few thousand commercial airliners is one of the most complex jobs on Earth. Now, imagine trying to regulate millions of amateur pilots, all flying in different directions, at different altitudes, in all weather conditions. It wasn't a logistical problem, it was a recipe for chaos. Second, the sound. A single small airplane taking off is loud. Now imagine 1,000 of them taking off from your suburban neighborhood every morning. The dream of a quiet, futuristic sky was, in reality, a promise of perpetual, deafening noise. Third, the astronomical cost. A simple car is a complex machine. A simple plane is an even more complex machine. A flying car is a complex car and a complex plane, crammed into a single compromised vehicle. The price tag wasn't just double, it was exponential. The flying car was never going to be for every family. It was destined to be a toy for the ultra-rich. Fourth, the insatiable thirst for fuel. Getting a heavy object to defy gravity requires an immense amount of energy. The fuel economy of early prototypes was measured in gallons per mile, not miles per gallon. The dream of clean, effortless flight was, in reality, an environmental and economic disaster waiting to happen. And finally, the most important dream killer of all: safety. Most people are barely qualified to operate a 2-ton vehicle in 2 dimensions. Now give them a 3rd dimension, the constant threat of stalling, and the potential for a catastrophic mechanical failure from 1,000 feet in the air. A simple fender bender on the highway becomes a tragedy. The dream wasn't killed by a lack of vision, it was killed by a reality check. The flying car wasn't a better car or a better plane. It was a brilliant, beautiful, and deeply flawed compromise that the real world simply refused to accept. The dream had died, or had it? The dream of the personal flying machine, powered by noisy gasoline engines and controlled by human pilots, was dead. But the core promise, the dream of a 3-dimensional freedom, didn't die. It went dormant, waiting for technology to catch up. And today, it is reawakening. This is the final surprising pillar of the story: the reincarnation of the dream. The ghost of the flying car now lives in a new generation of machines. They are called eVTOLs, electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. They are not a compromise between a car and a plane. They are a completely new species of vehicle, and they are designed to systematically solve every single one of the original dream killers. The nightmare of the sky? They won't be flown by amateur pilots, but by sophisticated centralized AI, operating as a fleet of autonomous air taxis. The deafening noise? They are powered by quiet distributed electric motors, making them hundreds of times quieter than a helicopter. The astronomical cost? Mass production and shared ownership models aim to make the price of an air taxi ride comparable to a premium Uber. The insatiable thirst for fuel? They are powered by clean, efficient battery technology, and the ultimate problem of safety. With multiple rotors, advanced computer controls, and autonomous navigation, they are designed to be statistically far safer than any human-piloted aircraft, or any car on the road. Companies like Joby, Lilium, and Whisk are pouring billions of dollars into this new reality. They are not just building vehicles, they are building the entire ecosystem of vertiports, charging networks, and air traffic control systems. The dream is no longer a hobby for a lone inventor in a garage. It is a multi-trillion-dollar global industry. The promise has returned, smarter, quieter, and more efficient than ever. But it brings with it a new, profound question. The dream of the 1950s was about personal freedom. This new dream is about giving up control. In the end, the story of the flying car is not a story of failure. It is a powerful, 70-year-long lesson about the nature of the future itself. It teaches us that a dream, no matter how beautiful, is not enough. It teaches us that reality is a complex, stubborn, and deeply interconnected system, and that progress is not a straight line to the sky, but a slow, difficult negotiation with the laws of physics, economics, and human nature. The true main character of this story is not a machine. It is the dream of freedom itself. A dream so powerful that it can survive decades of failure, only to be reborn, smarter, and more resilient, in a new generation. Here at the Future Past, we believe that unearthing these epic, forgotten sagas of invention is our most important work. These stories, the triumphs, the failures, the brilliant compromises, are the foundational blueprints of the world we live in today. They are the ghosts in our modern machines. If you were captivated by this journey into the sky that never was, subscribe to our channel, and join us as we continue to unearth the incredible futures that never were.